Don't ever let a man know if you have money. Now, this is something that an older black woman told me many years ago that I found to be true. Because for if a man knows that you have money, he will think that it's his money, he will be resentful of the money, or he will try to spend every goddamn dime of that money down to the penny. I was reading in one of my older journals. This story came up that I told on a live once, but reading the journal, it gives me more information to be able to share the story. I met this guy. And let me tell you, I had worked in TV news and it was always really hard to date. People think that when you work in TV news, you have all these options of men, but usually it is whoever the local guy is that thinks he's the shit and he only wants to go out with you so he can be the shit and let everybody know he's dating a woman that's on TV. Plus, you move every 2 to 3 years whenever you're doing TV news as you're building your career. I'd gotten out of television news. The guy that I met did not know me from the news. I was so relieved to finally meet a black man that had a real job. A job that had benefits, a job where he had insurance, a job where he had a freaking salary, that it wasn't some gig job. Because y'all know how it is. You know, it's a lot of educated black women that have our shit going on, that have houses and have cars and, we got, savings. This guy, finally, I met somebody that had a job. He had a good, stable job with a salary. And I was even able to look up the salary. It wasn't as much as I had or was making. But at the same time, I was like, okay, this is finally a guy that's not driving something or detailing cars or I get Nike tennis shoes and rework them and resell. Somebody that wasn't hustling, right? He was working, he had a new car, he was up for a promotion, and he was getting ready to buy a house. We had the same interests. He was good looking and was fun to be around, and all my friends and everybody liked him and everything. And so I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. I mean, this was somebody, because I hadn't wanted to be married, but I was like, okay, this is somebody that I could marry because he's got a pot to piss in and soon he'll have a window to throw it out of. My sister and I had a company, and a particular day we needed some manual labor done. Usually you pay those guys in cash. And so I needed on that particular day $200 in cash to pay this guy who had done this work. Well, I couldn't leave the office, nor could my sister leave the office. The guy that I was dating, I gave him my company card and asked him to go to an ATM and pull out $200. I swear to God, I wished that I had just asked him to go get the $200 and bring it to me, and then I could have given it back to him later. But I was thinking executive director mode. So I sent him to go get the $200. When he came back, he just was acting really bizarre. Started like his eyes got wide, and he seemed to be like concerned about everything, where everything needed to be, and making sure that, that everything was clean and where everything was at. And that was a Thursday. On that Monday, he went and resigned from his job. He resigned from his job without telling me, and then came to my office and told me that he was now going to work for me. I was so confused. And like, I'm not hiring anybody. I don't need you to work for me. When he was like, no, I was just tired of that job anyway. I wanted to do he was talking about there were some other things. He wanted to start his own business. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I guess he's got some savings. But I said, hey, I was very clear. I cannot hire you. I know you're talking about getting a house and everything. That's not the kind of, hiring that I do around here, right? So I don't have anything for you to do. He said, don't worry about it, Candace. He would show up first thing in the morning, unlock the building. He was acting like the supervisor of the building. He kept it clean. He was answering phones. He was putting stuff on the internet. If we needed something, he would drive and go get it. He was he was just the best assistant that I ever had. He was doing things that I would pay people a little money kind of under the table to do. So I was paying him, but I was paying him more because, he was my guy, and I don't know. And I knew that he was trying to start. I was trying to help him. I was doing that thing. One day I was talking to one of our investors. It was an important meeting. They were getting ready to leave. And there was a big can of trash that was sitting, that was close to us. And at that time, we were getting ready to close down close the business for the night. And he would empty the trash and everything. So I'm thinking, oh, he's going to come over here and grab the trash. And there was some trash that was laying beside the trash can, right? So I'm standing there in my suit and everything, and I'm talking and stuff. And I kind of look at him, he was getting the trash, and I kind of looked at him like, hey, here's a trash can over here, right? And he just busted between me and the investor and just snatched the trash can. Didn't say hi, excuse me, or nothing like that. And I'm thinking, wow, that was pretty odd. And I went, hey, just to let him know that there was some, a piece of paper that was left on the trash. His face was crinkled all up. He grabbed it and took it in the trash can and threw it out. And as soon as that investor left, he came over to me and started complaining about how I was trying to boss him around and tell him what to do, and that I thought less of him because he didn't have a job and all this type of stuff. And then the whole relationship just went to hell. Well, as I started thinking back on that relationship, you know what happened? When he went to the bank, he saw how much money I had in the bank for my company. And assumed that I had all of this money. And so therefore he was going to figure out a way to get it. I mean, he had all kind of hustles that we could do. You need to do this and we could do that and we could, sell these and do that, right? He had all these hustles things that he was looking at my checking account. And it wasn't even my checking account. I hadn't even paid myself, right? I hadn't even paid myself. It was the company checking account. So that's why I say, young ladies, don't let a man know if you have money. In part 2 of this, I'm going to tell you why you need to never let a man know that you are willing to carry half of the weight in the relationship.